We're into the final in Paris, and it is that guy again, Jannik Sinner, going for the world number one if he wins this tournament. But he's up against the second best indoor hardcourt player on the tour right now. It is none other than Felix Auger-Aliassime.
That's right, Ben. We're back for another episode, and it's final time in Paris, France. No Carlos Alcaraz, no Novak Djokovic, but Jannik Sinner is there, and it's going to be a really big effort for anyone to stop him right now. I believe he's won, 24 indoor hardcourt matches in a row?
25, I believe now.
25.
Got a tweet for that. There we go.
Super dominant. The performance we've just witnessed against Sasha Zverev was insane. Someone of his caliber to bagel and breadstick him and send him packing. Granted, of course, he's just come off a really tough match against Medvedev, and I think he just completely did not fancy this battle against Sinner. You saw him; he looked deflated after that first set. Physically, wasn't feeling his best, and you have to be at 100% just to make it competitive against Jannik Sinner. And I think that highlights, we've seen some players take sets against Jannik Sinner recently or take him all the way to a tie break. I think Bublik did quite well. It's very, very tough to do. And I think them players, we need to give them more praise just for being able to do it, because Zverev had no answers whatsoever. Felix, on the other hand, is an indoor hardcourt specialist. Out of the 8 titles he's won, we were just looking at him earlier, most of them have been on the indoor hardcourt. I think 7 of the 8. So it just goes to show this is his surface. He's just beaten one of the most informed players in the world in Sasha Bublik, who played brilliantly well. The question we're asking is, can Felix beat Jannik Sinner?
It's a great question to ask. Let us know in the comments section. Do you think it's possible? Can Felix do it? On all of the recent things that we've seen, obviously, this match from Sinner against Zverev, I know that we were saying, Zverev's been struggling a bit. Sinner's been struggling a bit this week as well, I think, physically. But coming into this match, I said I thought he'd win this in 2 close sets, so it couldn't have been any more wrong, really. It wasn't close at all. He absolutely battered him off the court. He just thrived in the longer rally, and how he finishes some of these shots, like that forehand cross court that he did, the short one, which is just dismissive of the rally. It's just like, right, I'm done with this rally now. Boom, like nice whipped forehand when he did one of those crazy ones down the line as well. It lands right on the baseline. Zverev, no answers, and like you said, just looked despondent, looked pretty much depressed, really. I mean, he got Jannik Sinnered. I mean, we've seen Casper Ruud get Sinnered this year. Zverev's just been Sinnered. There's a lot of people getting Sinnered right now, and indoor hardcourt is a place that it can happen in a dramatic fashion. It's a semi-final of a Masters. It's not it's not a pipsqueak match, this one. This is like, people probably turned out. They probably paid some top dollar to go watch this match, and all they got is a big drubbing from clearly the best hardcourt player in the world against Zverev, who you'd think, in past years, he'd probably be one of the favourites to win this tournament. But yeah, no chance today. Felix...
he's a reigning champion, no? Zverev?
Well, he's incredible in Paris normally.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for him, he's going to say, the courts are slow, all of that type of thing. But I don't think it's slow enough to create that type of scoreline, surely.
He physically wasn't at his best too. No. But Sinner is insane. And
it's crazy, yeah.
We was only speaking about a couple of weeks ago, and I was putting out the idea that he can end the year at year-end number 1. A lot of people in the comments, 99% of them, called me crazy and delusional and an Alcaraz hater. You wasn't having any of it as well. You was very convinced that Alcaraz is going to do it. And right now,
far ahead though, didn't he? That's why it was. I didn't foresee him stumbling like in Paris again. I just thought, come on, surely you've learned your lesson from the past years. You're growing as a player. but maybe he is still struggling with the indoor hard courts and the back end of the year, Carlos Alcaraz.
A little bit, but what I was putting the prediction on wasn't really so much Alcaraz, because I thought most likely Alcaraz would just keep winning and then it would be impossible for Sinner. And it is totally in Alcaraz's hands, and it still is, by the way,
Yeah,
because
of course it
despite
is.
if Sinner does win Paris and beats Felix, it will then go be decided in Turin. But Alcaraz would have to be, he'd have to be terrible. He'd have to completely collapse, which is unlikely.
I can't wait
Um,
for the draw for Turin now. It's going to be so interesting to see who the groups are, because if he gets an unfavourable group, Carlos Alcaraz, I mean, they're going to be top players. Felix is someone you're not going to want in your group.
Not an indoor hardcore, and if he does,
Exactly.
I actually think he can beat Carlos Alcaraz right
Well,
now.
this is it.
And
So,
I did consider all of these variables when I made this claim, and the one variable which I was pretty confident in was that Jannik Sinner was going to keep winning.
Yeah.
Obviously, what happened in Shanghai threw a spanner in the works a little bit, because if he would have won that, there'd have been a different story altogether right now. But since then, he has just kept winning and
yeah.
winning well as well. I mean, on a hard court, he is the best player in the world. And I was reading something a second ago, just before we come in here. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, indoor hard court for sure.
Yeah, so read this. This is insane. It's pretty crazy. Let me see if I can find it. Sinner has won 2 Grand Slam titles this year and came close to making it 3, but he's still chasing his first Masters 1000 crown of the season, a gap he will look to close at the final Masters event of the year in Paris. He's yet to win a Masters event this year. He also had 3 months off this season due to suspension, which is insane. And he, out of the 10 tournaments he's entered so far in Paris, in 2025, excluding Paris, impressively, he's reached a final in 8 of them, winning 4 titles, with his 4 defeats coming to only Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah, crazy.
He's not played. He's missed a lot, and when he's played, he's got to the final and either won or lost to Carlos Alcaraz.
Well, look at that, absent for 5
Yeah.
out of, well, say 8 coming into this tournament. So it's 5 out of the 9 that he would have missed. And he's been to the final of 2. Obviously, Shanghai, not so great. But yeah, this one, he just looks unstoppable, really. The big question is Felix in the type of form that could cause a huge upset? And I think that this would be a huge upset. I'm not sure what the odds are for Felix. Maybe we should get that up. Oh, it's crazy. It's even worse than Zverev. It's 8s for Felix.
Yeah.
Oh, that is insane for a final from someone who's playing very well and somebody who has a level head-to-head with Jannik Sinner. Not many people can say that these days. Obviously, he won the first 2 and then he's lost the last 2. And obviously, most notably, he did get beaten in the semi-finals of the US Open. That was the most recent one. He did take a set, though, still. So Felix still proving that he's probably a level above some other players who aren't even able to get sets from Jannik Sinner. He'll have to draw from that set in the US Open, I think, what mentality he had to be able to win a set against Sinner, because people struggle.
And he is better on an indoor hard court than what he would be at the US Open. But then so's Jannik Sinner. I think Jannik Sinner's playing better right now than maybe what he was then. If I don't know if that's even possible, really. But yeah, look at this. Tournament averages. Sinner's on the left, I'm assuming. All them 9.
That's correct.
Serve 8.3. Felix is doing better, actually, in this tournament.
Great.
And his serve against Bublik was incredible. Bublik, I don't know if you saw at the end of the match, at the net, he said to him, really good serve. And it was a formidable serve from Felix. He will have to do that for the whole match. He did it for the first set. The second set, he started and the serve went off a little bit and Bublik grew into it. If he is to do that against Sinner, he will only have about 5 minutes to get it back on track, because otherwise he'll find himself 5-love down.
Yeah,
it'll just be very, it'll be very quick. It'll be a bagel within half an hour, done.
Well, he probably won't be having to deal with cleaning up the court against Jannik Sinner, though, at least, like he was against Bublik. Bublik's smashing a racket, and Felix getting the towel out to clean up some of the bits and pieces left on the court, which Bublik thanked him for. I thought that this match, Bublik actually did play pretty well, to be honest, and he was in a good position in the second set. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to hold that good position. He was up a break, and Felix just kept the pressure, and he cracked. Unfortunately for Bublik, I think that's credit to Felix, able to keep a consistent level, really, on indoor hard court that we don't really see from him on other surfaces. And the
And
serve,
he was super aggressive, more so than usual, not allowing Bublik to take control of many points and
exactly.
not allowing Bublik to dictate the pace. I think there's not many times this year you'll see Bublik only hit 4 drop shots in a match.
Yeah, it was impressive. I think that the one thing that he's going to be struggling with, obviously, he needs to get the serve going. I think the forehand is so important, but the thing that Jannik Sinner, for me, is going to try and exploit is the backhand, and that's going to be the key factor for Felix. Is how much can he dominate a rally against Jannik Sinner to the point where Sinner doesn't turn one of his attacking shots into like a he doesn't repel it into another attacking shot into Felix's backhand, because that's what I can see happening in this. Sinner's one of the best players, if not the best player on tour, at turning a defense into an attack straight
Definitely.
away.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem for Felix in this. If that happens, I think he's screwed.
Yeah, and I think there's so many stats and numbers nowadays with all the technology and data available that players are fed so much information into their opponent that tactically it's just about using your ability to deploy them. And with Yannick Sinner, I think his brain, the way it works, he's tactically very good. And he will know and he'll be super aware of the fact that Felix's backhand is a minor weakness. I wouldn't say it's a big weakness. He's certainly better than a lot of other players. And I mean, he hit some really nice winners and clean shots on the backhand side against Bublik today. But at the top level, with your Jannik Sinners and your Alcarazes, it's not good enough. And I think that's where we're going to see Jannik Sinner really pepper it and get a lot of success.
Yeah. Obviously, they've played twice this year. Hopefully for Felix, it's not going to be like the Cincinnati match. It was a bagel and 6-2 in the quarterfinals in Cincinnati. That can happen, though. You just take your eye off the ball for 1 second, or you have a bad spell against Jannik Sinner, and those six loves or 6-1s can come like fast.
Yeah.
Saw what happened to Zverev today. It was 1 hour and 2 minutes, I think it took him to dispatch Sasha Zverev. And yeah, this is a bit of a surprise, really, for that Jannik Sinner's not done better, I'd say, at Paris before, really. But this is one I would expect to see him winning much more in the future. If he takes this title, it's going to be the first of many, I think, for Jannik Sinner in Paris.
Well, statistically, there on the screen, it's his worst one, right?
Yeah,
33%. He's never
exactly.
done very well at Paris, but a lot of players haven't. You've got to remember,
Yep.
Rafael Nadal, how many times did he try and get some success and kept failing after time? It's a very difficult tournament to win, maybe because of the time of the year, with such a grueling calendar after doing all of the 4 slams on top of everything. A stat I've got about Felix, I don't know if we've mentioned it, was kind of his year, 2025, because if you remember, sort of the start of the year and the back end of 2024, he wasn't very good at all.
Yeah.
I've got a statistic here: 2024 US Open up to 2025 Canada, there was 10 tournaments and only 3 wins. It was pretty much going out in the first round every time. 1 third round in there, a few second rounds, but not very good at all. And then if you go from 2025 Cincinnati, it looks like that was his real turning point. And he started finding his game again. We had him inside our top 10, I think, last year, not for this year, but the year before. quite high up. We really did go heavy on him, and he disappointed massively. Could we see a really good year in 2026? Maybe, if he can keep this going, because from Cincinnati to Paris up to now, he's had 16 wins at just 4 tournaments, which is completely different to the other 10 tournaments.
Yes, he's in much improved form. Like Stephen from the Slice says, it's a full circle moment for Felix. In 2022, he made the finals as well. It's been a 3-year journey to get back. And that's why I was just sort of looking at his. I like going on the ranking graphs. We did it with Vachereau. But if we go back to 2022, you can see here he was in 6th in the world there, finishing in 2022. And then you see the gradual decline going down all the way down to 29 in the world, dropping outside the top 30 in 2024, building himself back up, but then dropping down a bit again. And you see it's been a sort of topsy-turvy
Well,
route.
it wasn't a great year. It wasn't a great year at all until recently, last few months.
And there you go. And he's just climbed his way back up the rankings again. And the ATP finals look like they're going to be, well, they're in his grasp now. So that's great for him. And it is the perfect way to end a year, really, if you are an indoor hardcourt player. If you just about keep your head above water and have some good results at slams like he did at the US Open, this final part of the year, you can really push on. I mean, you can win. He has the ability to win back-to-back tournaments, maybe in some of the 500s and 250s around this back end of the year. And then you're in amazing form. You even have a chance to get through to the semis or maybe the final of the tour finals if you're in that good a form. Obviously, we don't have the likes of Djokovic. Well, we don't know if he's going to play it or not. He might not be there.
No, Djokovic is playing.
Oh, so if he is playing, he's still now potentially could be somebody you're looking at. It doesn't even play that much tennis. He could still be somebody you could take out. In the past, nightmare for everybody. Now, it looks like Sinner's the main nightmare. If you're not in the same group as him, you could probably just meet him in the final, really. Like that's the reality. He could gain even more points from this ATP Tour finals and see himself sitting pretty come the start of next year. But great end to the year for Felix. And I think Canadian tennis, they had a bit of a rough ride of it over the past couple of years. And good to see he hasn't given up the ghost and he's really, really doing well now. Chapeau seems to be following suit a little bit as well. Not quite as good, I'd say, as Felix, but at least they're encouraging each other.
Yeah, Chapeau's he's at 23 in the world with the live rankings. Felix 8 in the world. Obviously, his career high, like you mentioned a few years back, was 6.
Yeah,
it's possible. He needs to just keep going and continue this form we're seeing at the moment into next year. He needs to start the year stronger. Australian Open, maybe try and do a little bit more on the clay courts. I know it's tough. Produce a better result at Wimbledon because we know he's a really good grass court player as well. And I actually think he is going to be a top 10 player potentially next year. And I predict him to keep this run going a little bit more so than what we've seen this year in this year's spell. But let's speak about this match again. Let's give some predictions because it's getting late.
Yeah.
Obviously, the bookmakers fancy this to be a really easy match for Jannik Sinner. I don't see it being a really easy match. I actually am predicting Felix to push Jannik Sinner, maybe in both sets. I'm not actually going to be going for like a big breadstick or a bagel or a 2 even. I think it's going to be tight. And I think we're going to just get 2 breaks towards the end of the set. I'm going to be going for a 7-5, 6-4 Jannik Sinner.
Interesting. There you go. I'm going to be going more to what you were just saying. Even though Felix is playing well, I think what we've just witnessed from Jannik Sinner, I think he is still just getting better and better. And you saw those stats don't lie of his quality. I think that tactically he will have it right. He'll know the buttons to push with Felix. Felix is able to play his game. He's good. If he's not able to play his game, it could be a bit of a thumping. And I'm going to be going for something more like a 6-3, 6-2, something like that. I think it won't be breadsticks and bagels, but it'll be very comfortable.
Yeah, and the final thing to mention is that Felix versus Musetti for the last place in Turin is still on. It's not complete yet. If Felix is to lose the Paris final, like we're both predicting against Jannik Sinner,
Yeah.
then he will need a semi-final in Metz to confirm qualification. Musetti will need the title in Athens and Felix to lose before the semi-final in Metz in order for him to get there. So it's going to be a shootout between the two of them. You'd have to say Felix is best placed right now.
Yeah.
But you never know. He could just collapse in Metz. And it's not crazy for Musetti to go on and win Athens for sure. I mean, that's certainly possible.
It is possible, but
And
yeah.
can he win Athens and Metz? Big ask. Felix, on the other hand, doesn't need to do that. Musetti could lose it himself.
Exactly. I think he's in the driving seat for sure. And if he just needs to pick up a few more wins in Metz, if need be, he's more than capable of doing so. But yeah, tell us your predictions in that comment section. Are you going for the upset? Are you going for Felix to maybe defeat Jannik Sinner? Or do you think it's full steam ahead, world number one, even if just for a week, for Jannik Sinner?
Well, you never know. We've got the ATP finals, a lot of points at stake, and it's getting hot between Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll be back tomorrow for another episode.
See you then.